welcome here to Town Hall Heroes.
Happy birthday,
Ladies and gentle nerds, welcome here to episode 145 of Town Hall Heroes Bakery. Your face tries so hard to wink, and I love it. Tonight, we've got a lot to talk about. We didn't have a show last week, but our teams for the HGC Crucible have been determined. The matchups have been determined, and that's going down like 3 days from now. We also have our teams for the HGC Mid-Season Brawl. That's going to be fantastic. We've got a bit of a roster apocalypse, the NA Classic, with some drama behind that. And then Bloodlust Open registration is now open. Smash.gg/Bloodlust, as always, for registration there. So, before we get there, Dunk Train, I traveled to a land called Las Vegas, and I'm going to start with a story before we even get to the shoutouts because that's your home turf. Now, here's a tale of one of the former hosts of Town Hall Heroes, one of the originals of the show, the Kubi himself, got married this past weekend. And he's my best friend in the whole world. We flew out to Vegas. His now wife is from Vegas. Turns out she got married in Dunk Train's neighborhood, which we're going to get to. We're going to get there. But my wife, myself, and my friend Unctious decided to book an Airbnb. Airbnb is, you know, like hotels, tends to be cheaper. And we checked into our Airbnb, and this was Thursday, the day we arrived. And we were supposed to go pick up our tuxes with all the boys and then go out for a bachelor party. So we had all these activities planned, from ziplining off the 51st story of a building off to another building and then getting pulled back. We were going to go do the standard, what you'd expect, would see some shows, we'll call it. And of course, we went ahead and just drank a lot. They have Taco Bells that serve alcohol out there. They're called Taco Bell Cantinas. It is actually the most wonderful thing in the world. But as we're trying on our tuxes, my wife gives me a call and she says, hey, so there's bed bugs in the bed that I had just napped in. And I'm trying on a tuxedo at Men's Warehouse at this very moment of her calling me. I'm in the dressing room. You can imagine the level of panic that went through my mind, the level of stress and just pure freak out. Long story short, we were very fortunate in not getting infected by these bed bugs. They were only on the headboard. I have some pictures of them. I could like tweet them later if people really want to see them, but it was actually utterly terrifying, this whole experience. So we missed like half the bachelor party. Booked another Airbnb, called Airbnb. Turns out they don't want you to book an Airbnb. So then they canceled both our bookings and made us go to a hotel. In the end, Airbnb covered our cost for everything. They paid for a hotel and everything. So it's like, hell yeah, Airbnb, you guys are an amazing company. They made it like end up being like a positive in the end, I guess. But like, it was the most stressful shit ever. Then it was just,
I can imagine,
drinking till 5 a.m. for Kubi's wedding. We went hard, boys. We went real hard. And now Kubi is a married man. You guys will see him again someday. Don't worry. Scream.
One day.
But
one day.
I was just saying to Dunk, I don't even know if it was during the pre-show. The wedding itself was in a church 4 minutes from your house.
Yeah. So I was actually really surprised. Like, I got the invitation, right? And I knew they were having their wedding in Vegas. But like, I looked at the invitation, I'm like, that's funny. I think that's by my house, right? And I looked it up, and it's actually, I had to make 2 turns to get to, I literally exit my neighborhood and make a left onto that road and a right onto the other road, and I'm literally at the church it was at. It was insane. So that was nice.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I'm just laughing at Unctious, who's in the chat, who says he spent $90 at Taco Bell on three of the nerds. Unctious, I love you, buddy. Oh, we got these robes. Why am I not showing this off? Kubi bought all the groomsmen big ass robes with our initials on it. Oh. Is this the wrong arm?
That's so posh.
Oh, it's inside out. This is the hardest thing in my life. Guys, the pressure. I can't handle. I'm dressing in front of stream. This is like the most awkward thing. Bakery, what's
Zoya,
up?
can you...
Carrie.
So as we can see, here's Jake from the robe. It looks like it says his initials on it,
Shut up.
and it's black as well. Yeah, I think it looks pretty stupid, to be honest.
Yeah.
Although I
Are you
mean,
sure that's not just Jake?
That's
I don't think
just
it's the
Jake.
robe.
That's standard, you know.
Okay, you know. Okay.
Yeah.
Easy, Flame.
If anything, the robe is amazing because it's accentuating how stupid he looks. It's like an amplifier.
JK, lol. Thanks, Bakery, for the kind words. Dunk, other than the wedding, you do anything crazy this weekend?
I went to California to visit my grandma, but that's a sad thing, not a great thing, so we'll move on. And I've just been streaming Infinite last week, so, you know.
Dude, killing it. Stream grind. Baker Rizzle.
Professional streamer.
Congratulations, Baker Rizzle.
Thank you very much. So obviously, since we last had a show, we finished HGC Phase 1 and then played in the playoffs, where we ended up winning the playoffs and securing the spot alongside Fnatic at the Mid-Season Brawl. So we were pretty happy with that.
Yeah, dude, I would be. It's like, play in a World Finals or no. Sit at home and be sad.
Well, I mean, there's not a very big gap. Like, I'm not sure if it's public yet, but the gap between, like, end of mid-season and start of Phase 2 is very short. So, you know, there were a few jokes about, you know, maybe we should take a holiday and just not go to mid-season. But we ended up qualifying anyway, so.
Zoya, how have you been,
I
buddy?
watched those Dig games, man. They were great. Honestly, I think Dignitas was carried pretty hard by Mene. So I'm going to post in the chat the All-Stars match. You can vote for players. Vote for Dignitas Mene, not Dignitas Bakery, not Dignitas Stitch.
Yeah, no,
No,
I
shut up.
should do
No,
that.
you did. No.
Although I
Vote-
can't post
click that link.
because I'm not modded.
That's
so...
perfect. Click that link. Vote for Mene, no one else, because Mene is a god.
I have to vote for Smexy, sorry.
Specs,
I mean, look at the
okay,
way he's looking at that camera.
as long as it's not anyone else on Dig.
Okay.
Zoya,
But
I hate you.
I love you, man. But yeah, we just got back from the boot camp, which honestly was one of my favorite esports experiences, hands down, despite how... Well, we'll talk about how frustrating it was later. But meeting the NVIDIA people was... It was different. NVIDIA is a different company. Dunk can attest to that. It's a very... I liked it there a lot. NVIDIA is great, and I had a good time. So yeah, just got back from the boot camp, and here I am on TownHall Heroes.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Where you belong,
Nice.
Zoya. All right, well, we can just hop right into it. Guys, I know you want the drama. I know you want that spicy beef, but you got to wait for us to get through our HGC topics. This is partially me to tilt Zoya, because I know Zoya is eager to get in there, and it's also to tilt the chat. So for you guys, the drama will be a segment after we get our updates on the Crucible and the Mid-Season Brawl. So Crucible is this coming weekend. Details were released, and I'm very excited to say that I am casting with JHow. It's actually going to be the Open Division caster. So the way the Crucible is going to go down is it's Saturday, Sunday this coming week. And for the North America side, it's Naventic versus Imported Support as one of the matchups. And honestly, Imported Support, just to give you guys the 5-second spiel on what is up with this team, they are playing more aggressive than ever. They're drafting their own style, and they're really hard to draft against, I feel. They make Cho'Gall look good on any map. And again, this is an open division, which is weird. So, I mean, it might not work against a team like Naventic. I don't know. But notably in playoffs, they took maps with Cho'Gall on like Cursed Hollow. They won a map on Infernal Shrines, like towers. They make Cho'Gall look, kind of. I don't think their Cho'Gall died once in playoffs, and they played it 4 times. So pretty cool stuff. They're up against Naventic. I assume that'll be Saturday. It's a best of 7 series, so Cho'Gall is going to come out at least once.
I saw the days. I think the Naventic match was first, but I don't remember for sure.
Yeah, Naventic and Imported. I think that'll be Saturday night, because EU is before NA.
Yeah.
Each day. And EU will be Tetcher and Grubby, so that's going to be dope.
That's cool. They're flying them out too.
Yeah. We all get in tomorrow, so I have to get up at 4 a.m. tomorrow to leave. The other NA match is
Let's talk about Naventic first. We should talk about the state of Naventic for that match. Naventic hasn't been scrimming. Kenma straight up said, "I'm not playing again until Crucible." So there's a very real chance.
What?
That's what I've heard. They have not. We didn't scrim. We wanted scrims bad during our boot camp, and we didn't scrim Naventic once because they're not scrimming. So Naventic is not in good shape. That team has the ability to always turn it up at lands, right? You never can sleep on them, but they have not been practicing. Imported support.
So we're going to talk a lot about roster swaps later, but again, there's been no word on Naventic for roster swaps. We know there were role swaps being discussed for like Kenma moving off support. Was it Big E playing support or
Big E swapped to support?
Which is just really kind of like, what's happening here? Like, I mean, I don't remember who the quote was from, but is like, do you really think Kenma as a playmaker is the right call for the team, right? And I don't remember who said that, but I don't know. It's interesting for sure. And the other speculation was Cure left UTA, who, again, did not make it through the HGC Open Division playoffs. And was Cure looking at Naventic? Or is Cure looking at Gale Force? Like, who knows where Cure might land? Or is
Cure looking at Superstars or Tempe Storm or Team A or literally any team in NA?
Okay, first of all, Cure might be looking at all the teams in NA, but not all the teams in NA are looking at Cure. That guy's the most overhyped player in NA right now. He is good, but literally every single Reddit thread is like, they should pick up Cure. Like GFE thread, they should pick up third. Tempo Storm thread, they should pick up Cure. Not every team needs a Cure right now. Only certain teams need a Cure. Only certain teams need to fill that role. So I don't know if Cure can end up literally on any team. But Naventic would be a good fit for him probably. If that team makes it through the Crucible somehow, I could see Cure going there. But if Naventic doesn't go through the Crucible, that team's done. That's fully disbanded. There's no that team sitting around like with talent like Biggie and Thompson. They're not going to sit around and play amateur league. They're going to get picked up by other teams.
Well said. So Naventic, supposedly not scrimming, imported support, looking better than they have in a long time. They got a lot of second place finishes in the Open Division season. They never won a cup. Actually, the two teams that won cups were LFM and UTA. Neither of those teams made it through the playoffs. They both lost in the semifinals. So
what happened to LFM, Jake? Weren't they pretty good?
They were pretty good, and they just didn't play good. They had a bad night. Honestly, they just didn't. They didn't look like they were ever in control. I think it went 3-1 in the best of 5 for them. They just got. I don't know. They struggled.
Which team were we talking about? Sorry.
LFM.
Oh yeah. I actually want to talk about that real quick. It kind of ties into the boot camp, but we scrimmed a lot of amateur teams, including teams from Korea that were amateur teams. And this goes to the format of HGC that I feel like a lot of amateur teams get hurt when they play versus HGC teams because we bring them to our patch. Most of the time, HGC teams will not play amateur teams on their patch. Amateur teams do not play on the same patch most of the time as HGC teams. So when we were scrimming LFM a lot, when we're scrimming Wiz's team a lot, who are both trying to make it through the Crucible, most of the time they were playing on a different patch than the HGC Pro teams, which is, in my opinion, awful. It's unfair to both sides because both sides are not getting the practice they would want. And the amateur scene, and I don't know how it is in EU, but in NA, it's developing pretty well. It's not like it was before where there wasn't even 8 good teams in NA. There are 8 good teams in NA plus a lot of good talent coming up in the amateur scene. And if we want the amateur scene to have a chance going into future seasons, they need to be playing on the same patch as pros because pros are scrimming amateur teams now a lot.
That was one of the nice things about playoffs is they did bring playoffs to the tournament realm. And that was the first time we've ever done HGC Open Division on tournament, which meant that like we had actually had cups where a patch would go through on the second day of the event. The event's on Monday.
Yeah.
The event continues into Tuesday, and a patch would go through, and it's just like, okay, I guess we're playing on this. And that always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And that was going to be the case for playoffs, but like these guys are playing for, to advance into the next season. Obviously, there's still, it's not perfect with Open Division. I mean, we got so many complaints from the players during the playoffs because day 3 was 3 best-of-5s. It starts at 9 p.m. Eastern. We ran till 4 a.m. Eastern. So like the players were like legit begging, like, can we please reschedule this grand finals match, because the way the grand finals worked was you get to choose what team you want to face off against, and that's a pretty big advantage to have there. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I agree that it is weird that Open Division and pro teams do play in different patches, and that's hopefully being resolved for the latter half. The fact that they made the adjustment for playoffs is a big deal, I think. Stepping stones, man, each little step.
Well, they did say, there was a comment on Reddit, I can't remember if it was MilkFat or CSD, but one of the two came to Reddit thread and said, look guys, we know some things haven't been working so well with Open Division, and we're going to make some small like necessary changes for phase 2, and next year as well we're going to put like some more work into it. So we'll see like what changes make it through, but I think they definitely are aware that Open Division wasn't great, or wasn't perfect rather, and yeah, I think we'll have a few good fixes.
You know,
yeah, of course,
we're gonna have these changes, but it was something very important to me, because I feel like LFM had a lot of hype going into them, and they scrimmed us a decent amount beforehand, and we all felt that we probably hurt their chances by making them play on different patches. And I feel like we probably did the same, because yeah, we practiced them on our patches, not them. We did the same with Wiz's team. That's the point I was trying to make, is they're not getting the practice they want. And when we went to Korea, most of the time we were actually playing on their patch. So when we were even practicing against the Koreans, it wasn't on our patch. So ideally, hopefully we can make it to where amateur and pros are playing on the same patch.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, needless to say, important support, one of our 2 teams from the Open Division, the other team, even in death. So you guys remember Battery, you guys remember Frozen X,
man.
You guys remember How. They all have made their mark in the pro scene, you know, mostly last year. But they have made it back, and they're going to be facing off versus No Tomorrow. And I think that's going to be a really close series. But even in death, the start of the season, I wasn't like super sure where they were going to end up. They always kind of sat at like 3rd, 4th place team all year long. They've just kind of been like 3rd, 4th, 3rd, 4th, 3rd, 4th, 3rd, 4th. Some weeks they would show up on day 1, and day 2 they just wouldn't be as hot. But as certain heroes have trickled back in, like Zagara, you put Frozen next to Zagara, and like, dude, the guy's he's so comfortable on that hero. He just looks, he just makes the split happen. He gets that min max in Zagara very well. So I actually have high hopes for Even in Death in that series. I think I favor them myself.
Yeah, I slept on them early on, and even going into the LFL match, based off like games I'd seen of them and scrims of them, I was 100% not expecting them to come out on top. They've definitely cleaned up their play throughout the season, for sure.
I mean, regardless of how they've looked in the amateur scene or whatever, I think it's going to be nigh impossible for an amateur scene to beat even these HGC teams. Like,
yeah, I agree.
In a long match, like, there's just so much more practice you have being an HGC team, and it's just, I don't know, maybe if Naventec's actually not scrimming or not playing at all or whatever, there's a chance, but I don't think No Tomorrow is going to fall out. Like, even if it's like, let's say it's the best amateur team or whatever in NA, it's just being an HGC gets you so much more consistent practice against higher quality opponents. I don't see them beating them in their best of 7s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that is an insanely grueling match set up, especially for an amateur team. Like, I just don't think
even with Frozen X, Battery, and How having as much experience in the scene, you don't think it's enough?
No, I don't think so.
I agree. I think it'd be silly. Hopefully they're not going and sleeping on No Tomorrow based off No Tomorrow's results in HGC, because
No,
they do look like the bottom of HGC.
Yeah.
But No Tomorrow's not a bad team.
No,
they're just not caught up with the rest of NA right now, and they're having their internal struggles and whatnot. But they're not a bad team. You can't sleep. You can't sleep on them. If I were to like say, I would 100% say, and No Tomorrow will probably be back in HGC even before I saw the Even in Death matches last week, and then of course the other match. You never know what's going to happen there.
I think Europe is closer than that for sure. I think, yeah I mean, Synergy, they started out the season and they actually were pretty good. I'd say they were like maybe 5th best team behind Expert, but it just kind of went down like as the season went along. And they're still a scary team to face for sure. Like they have a few things that they play really well, but I think in like an even match, I think that Zealots are probably like a stronger mechanical team and stronger fundamentally. And then in terms of the other match, you've got Team Gangang, which is like
BKB.
Yeah, it's like BKB, like Kronaz anti-hero. It's gonna be like a really interesting match. I think you're gonna be able to tell after the first game who wins. I think because if Team Gangang show up and they're comfortable with their meta and they know what they're doing, then I think they have a great shot. But BGenius, they've been on the up and up, man. They've looked actually pretty good the past few weeks.
That's cool. I'm hyped to watch the EU ones a lot.
I think they're all going to be good, dude.
They're all going to be good for sure.
I mean, let's just talk about the fact that it's a best of 7. Like Dunk was stressing that's something that's like that's a grueling thing. Best of 7 in Heroes of the Storm or MOBAs period are like a fabled thing. They typically only exist in like you need to commit an entire day to this one match, right? This team, if they're playing a best of 7, you cannot give them a second game that day because that could be a 3-hour series of just stressing out, trying to strategize, get your form back together when you're behind. Like it is insane at how much focus it takes for a best of 7. And how many different, styles of play you need to have with the diversity we have in map pools. Like suddenly those maps that you don't see that often, like Warhead Junction, become that much more likely. Now there are 9 maps in the HGC map pool. That means each team will get a strike at the start. If I understand the rules properly, each team will strike one map. So maps like Warhead Junction, very likely to just be removed there. And from there, there's the 7 maps remaining. Loser chooses first pick or map pick, right? So it's going to be pretty nuts.
Dunk is one of the few players who've experienced that kind of marathon. In Kings of the Storm, we used to have double limb best of 5s, right? And they would go to Game 5 and then go to Game 5. And so believe Dunk when he says that it is not easy. Those nights, even as a spectator, were exhausting. Mm-hmm. And to be on mental edge literally that long it's gonna put these players to their limits.
Yeah. I think so. So do you guys want to put bets on this or no? Like for who's gonna win what?
I bet 1,000 imaginary points.
Oh,
that No Tomorrow stays in the HGC.
1,000.
Yeah, imaginary points. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I'll pay out 5 to 1 on those imaginary points even, and I still don't think you can take that bet.
Yeah, same.
I think I'm gonna agree with you on No Tomorrow, but I think Imported is gonna beat Naventic.
I'm willing to put
10,000
imaginary points on Naventic.
Like
just in the odd chance that they pull it out, and I just that's probably like 20 to 1 odds.
Ooh,
hell yeah. 10K,
you're getting 20 to 1 odds. You're getting 20 to 1 odds.
Okay, it's a team with Kenma who hasn't been practicing. We've seen him when he's practicing. Now we're going to see him when he's not practicing. So, yeah, 20 to 1 odds sounds pretty reasonable to me.
Okay, so here's how I see it, right? Imported support, like all of them put together, if they have a good meta, they have decent cheeses, and they play up to their potential, right? I still don't think they can win against a team with Biggie, B-Kid, Tomston, Zuna playing well. Even if there's one guy literally running it down mid, as he has been for most of HGC, I still don't think they can lose. Just because of the rest of that talent.
I agree.
For those of you that aren't aware of the squad, and these guys aren't names. When you consider some of the other, like you mentioned, Tomster, Zuna, Big E, like those are like definitely household names when it comes to competitive Heroes of the Storm, and These guys have yet to prove themselves to the same level. So import and support, you mentioned they have some decent cheese. You're probably going to have to rely on crazy drafts a little bit.
You cannot let Swag Magoo into... That's just not okay. You cannot lose a set to a guy with that name, please. Just have some respect.
I like it. I like it. What about EU? Bakery said you think it's a little bit closer. Do you think the Open Division teams have what it takes?
I would say Team Zealot is like 55 to 45, I think, to make it in. Like very slightly favored. I would say B Genius is favored maybe 60 to 70 over Team Gang.
I'm putting all of
that's my prediction.
Points on BKB.
BKB, take our energy, boy. BKB.
Solar Bomb BKB, man.
We're doing it. Solar Bomb or Spirit Bomb?
Spirit Bomb, Solar Bomb.
So it's like, wait, isn't there Lunar?
Feels
Lunar
bad,
Flare?
man.
Is it Solar Flare? That the like blinding spell they use early on in Dragon Ball. I think it's Solar Flare. And Taranda's got Lunar Flare. Confirm Krillin and Taranda, best couple NA. Okay.
Just Jake tangents.
His mind just like, and just gets like 300 yards away instantly. Just takes one thought, and then he immediately Krillin.
Hey, man, Solar Flare. Well, that's going to be this weekend, guys. Saturday and Sunday for the Open Division Pro Clash for the HGC Crucible. See if these pro teams have what it takes to hold their spots, or if they'll lose that fat salary of being an HGC and that title of being a pro player to the Open Division teams that are hungry. I think that's the one other variable here is those teams are so hungry. They want it so bad, and they're working their asses off.
Is there a crucible for the casters? Like, are you and J-How going to battle it out versus Gilly and Zed? Like, let's go, man.
Yeah, I actually
best of 7 series. Who cast the 7? Best?
No, boxing. Like,
what?
J-How versus Gilly boxing match would be crazy.
Yo, J-How would be he can't even reach that low. Like Gilly's by far the shortest caster, and J-How's by far the tallest caster. So like that would be hilarious.
I mean, I guess if he falls over, he loses, right?
Yep. She's got to trip him up.
All she's got to do, she's just got to like bait him in.
She's got this easy.
I believe in J-How. Gilly would be too afraid to hit him.
She would. But would she be too afraid to untie his shoes?
That's a good point. Gilly's got this. Sorry, J-How, you lose. Gilly's got this. She's got the shoelaces.
Yeah, I actually initially when they asked J-How and I to go cast it, I was expecting to be casting with Dread and Gilly, like the four of us, kind of like a four-man desk talking about everything. And I thought that'd be a really interesting thing to do with both perspectives of like Open Division and Pro League. But I believe it's just going to be J-How and I. And, cool. I bet you the Pro League guys they want that break. I don't know if that's the variable, but like they work so much. Like they deserve a weekend off for a change.
They got to prepare for Sweden too. So
Yeah. So, okay. Well, the next up, we've got the HGC Mid-Season in Baker-Rizzle. I know we talked about it in the opening, but congrats once again. And, coming from Europe, like, you guys had to face off versus Team Liquid. Let's kind of rewind to the preparation for that match. Like, what were your thoughts going into it? Misfits is a team now Liquid is a team that's been, a top 3, number 1 at the start of the season going into the Western Clash. And then it seemed like they were falling off a bit, and then they regained some composure. Like, how worried were you going into the match?
So as I said on the stream, we were actually like more worried about the expert match that we had the day before.
That's crazy.
So to us, expert represents the unknown, and obviously it's the mad scientist. It's ADRD. So we don't know what they can do. They're still kind of an unknown quantity. They have all these cheeses. They have like a great mind for the game, and we were just worried. Like, as long as we can play like a standard game against expert, we think we can win. But we gotta really try hard to make sure this is like a standard game, and we know what's going on. So that's where like a lot of our like concern and practice time went, I think. In terms of Liquid, we know that it is possible for them to cheese. They have had some really good cheese in the past, but we didn't think that they'd have any for this like match. And we were pretty confident that now that we've kind of found our form with Xaylia, we thought we could just, like, we could beat them, basically. So, yeah, I think, like, you still have to have a lot of respect for Liquid because they have been a top 2 team. Like, they were top 2 team for, like, 9 months.
Right.
Then they were top 3 team for, like, another 9. Like, it's a really impressive feat, but, yeah, I think they just fell off a bit. Recently, and I'm not sure how they come back. Like, maybe they're going to roster change over this offseason, but I think they can do either. Honestly, I think they can roster change or they can not, and I still think they have a chance to come back strong in phase 2.
Awesome. Well, we can just take a look at the groups that we have here. We know that Team 8 also made it through here.
Screwed
over Gale Force. Let's talk about the first group here. Deadly Kittens, Team 8, Fnatic, CE, Nomia, and MVP Black. A lot of familiar names. CE, that's China, right?
Yeah, the first year from China.
Yeah. So, which group do you think's harder? You said Dig is screwed, Bakery. Or
No, I said that.
Jared.
I didn't say that.
I said that. It didn't matter what group Dig ended up in. They're not gonna. Come on.
Okay.
I don't know, man. When I look at that team, Tempo, Field's on fire right now. L5, E-Star.
Wait, hang on. I thought you were joking.
Wait. Real?
Yeah, that group looks scary, right? You don't think?
I mean,
You don't think-
L5 is in there. So
Yeah.
the group is scary, but to suggest that Tempo is on fire when they're about to head to another global seems
40-0, boys.
Questionable.
40-0.
I have full faith in June Hots as the best support in the world.
Okay, well, I think
Bakery.
Zoya's lost it.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to call, like, the emergency services to, like, check on him or something? Anyway, I think that group looks super exciting. Like, just quickly, before we go into the actual groups themselves, the format of the Mid-Season Brawl is actually amazing. It's very similar to the Gold Club World Championship format that we saw at the end of last year. And that was so much fun to play because you got to play so many games against so many different teams. And it wasn't really who prepped the best, who came up with the cheese, like who figured out the meta the best, because there were so many games that everyone was playing kind of the same thing. And it was just literally brawling teams and seeing how good everyone was.
It's like 9 days of broadcast or something, I think. Like 9 days of tournament.
Yeah.
Which is the dream.
Yeah, it's going to be super hype.
So glad I'm not going to be there. Salt!
Anyway, yeah, I'm super excited to play against L5 because since the last time we played them...
You guys got crushed, right?
No, we went 1-1 against L5 last time we played them.
Okay.
And that was back with Athero at the Go Club World Championship. And we were also one of the only 2 teams to take a game off of L5 in a 6-month period.
So this was right after BlizzCon for the GCWC, right? That was like December?
Yeah.
So Athero had been on the team for like 2 months maybe, and he was soon after gone. So it was, before the Xaylia era. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's going to be hype.
We're super excited rematch. Looking at Korea, this is kind of like a tangent, but Korea this season, honestly, has not been impressive, like, at all. I think before, Korea was the one driving forward the macro game, and they were the ones coming up with sick rotations and new ways to play around objectives. And looking at them now, like, I haven't seen anything different, like, about the macro game. This entire phase 1, it's been exactly the same. There's been no innovation, and that's not a bad thing, right? To keep playing what's good, but last year they were always pushing that. In terms of
I might have insight on why it's happening like that. MVP Black doesn't scrim other Korean teams anymore. MVP Black only scrims Miracle, and then they scrim Chinese teams. They play on a different server for most of their practice. So when, one of the big threats suddenly is not helping every other team improve, that could be a suspect.
I wonder what other teams would do similar things.
Foreshadowing. Ooh.
Okay, and the other aspect as well is that before, like last year, there were a lot of new heroes that came out. So we had Li Ming at the start of last year, and when she came out, she had a huge skill cap, and Korea showed everyone else how to play that, and that gave them a huge advantage. Then they brought things like animation canceling, like new kinds of combos with Diablo, and that put them further ahead. And then Greymane comes out, and they're showing everyone how to play Greymane, like when he comes into the meta. Like there's this heavy dive, there's taking Tyrael back, because obviously Sanctification, with the rework, people weren't playing it. So there was a lot of things last year where Korea were effectively like evolving the meta by showing people mechanically how to play these heroes better. And again, this entire phase, there's not a single hero where there has been a mechanical innovation that has made a hero really good again, and something that the other regions would have to learn. So
Diva's in the mid-season, right? Sorry,
potentially it could be Diva. Yeah,
I think Diva, like Korean divas, are gonna be fire, dude.
Dude, they're totally gonna go the full-on like pilot style with the pilot ult and just be like heavy pressure. As soon as you think you're gonna kill her, nope, she's in a mech zipping away, being terribly obnoxious. Dude, Diva's gonna be insane if she's allowed.
Yeah, I believe she is allowed. But anyway, all I'm saying is that Korea doesn't have a natural advantage going to this event. They still might have an advantage because they're Koreans, and historically they always have been the best teams in the world. But this is the first tournament since the first international tournament last year, the Spring Global Championship in Seoul, where there are drastically different metas.
Yeah.
And EU realistically has a good shot to take on Korean teams.
Do you think European carry players, I don't know whose responsibility is to play Genji, for example, on Fnatic and Dig, but do you guys think you guys are as good as Koreans? Or do you think Genji is even worth playing? I mean, you don't have to tell me if you don't think it's like obvious or hiding strategies or whatever, but like I haven't been convinced super hard by watching Genji's. Like I know he's good, but it'll be interesting to see if Koreans show up and it's like, oh, that hero is actually broken, you know?
Right.
Which is what I think everyone is thinking. That's what Genji is, right? Oh, the Korean gods show up and like suddenly Genji's the most broken hero. I'm not sure that's going to happen. Like, do you think that's a concern? Are you not worried about it?
I think I'm worried about that for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I think Genji, like to me, Genji's one of those heroes that's just going to keep getting nerfs and he's going to keep coming back, just like Greymane and just like Tyrael.
Yeah.
Like, I think his skill cap is absolutely huge. So whether the Koreans turn up and show us how to play Genji, again, that would be what I'm talking about. That'd be something that puts them really far ahead.
I'm
I don't
expecting
think
it.
that's going to happen.
Really?
I'm being bold. I'm going to call that's not going to happen.
You are being bold.
Bold move. Bold move.
This whole conversation has been.
We'll see how it plays out.
He literally just challenged Korea. EU's got a chance. So I like it, dude. I believe. If you're willing to say it, I'm willing to believe.
Bakery and Zoe, I gotta compliment you guys on just having the same exact color of wall. It's really...
I was thinking that earlier. It looks really good. So you guys have got like the space background with the purple borders. We've got this beigey white thing
with the blue
That's
borders.
because Bakery and I
borders?
actually live together. We're dating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Zoe, don't want me to.
News to me.
Zoe's like over here.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Zoe,
Bakery
fist bump.
over.
Wow, wrong direction.
Baker, you're making this difficult. You're the one making this difficult.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously, we've talked a little bit about, Genji and maybe his skill ceiling needs to go up. If Diva isn't playing, her skill ceiling will go up. Now that we've been on live for a little while with the changes to Tyrande and Alarak, where do you think those two heroes will sit? We'll start with you, Dunk, on Tyrande.
A little place I like to refer to as the poo-poo Kachu tier.
Nice.
I don't actually think she's like turbo garbage, but she's not meaningfully better than she was before. She just got some cute new talents.
They took away Sprint from every cool character that had Sprint, man.
It's officially gone, right?
It's gone.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
That's
gone.
the last
She was the
sprint?
last. She was
Dunzo.
the final
Why?
bearer of the sprint. Dude, I played a bunch of
So
her
butthurt.
yesterday. I streamed. I just played like 8 games in a row with Tyrande. Owl build is, I'm like so deflated about it. It's not. It used to be so much better. And I thought
Shadowstock is so bad too.
I try making it good.
I misclicked that and then I went and 1v1 the Genji. So I'm now gonna say it's the best ult in the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, with the mark talent at 1 in Shadowstock, like you do become like a threatening 1v1 hero in a sense, because you can heal yourself so frequently, and you can do some big damage, especially with the increased duration late game with it. But like that's not what you want to be like as like I don't know. She's interesting, but I'm glad I'm not alone in thinking she's kind of poopy.
Design-wise, Tyrande is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, actual power level, it's just a disaster. Like, it's terrible.
Wow.
But they'll get there. There's going to be some buffs, and then it'll be a well-designed hero and viable.
I just...
The stun metal will
in
come back,
2
and
years.
then you'll get nerfed again, and then we'll rinse and repeat a few more times.
Just make my owls fat again, man. Let me hit 30 owls and get them like fat and juicy and plump like a Thanksgiving turkey. I just want my
Jake,
owls
we don't want
to
the game
fat.
to be easy for people.
It's not even easy. It's just like they're so easy to dodge. It's insane. Make it travel
Maybe you just
faster.
gotta aim better, bro.
Damn. I feel you. Well, that's Tyrande, Alarak, Bakery.
I haven't had enough experience with him, for sure. Like, the thing is that you see a Hero League Alarak, and he just does nothing. Like, and you're like, wow, this is like not scary. I thought it'd be really good. And then you see another one, he just triple kills like your team instantly, and you're like, how'd that happen? Like, honestly, like, since he wasn't available for the playoffs, and since we haven't scrimmed with him yet, we have no idea how strong he is. We're gonna need to wait until some real talented players, and media assassins like Zarya and so on, get the chance to get their hands on him and see what can be done. But right now, my general opinion is that he is balanced.
Okay, until Korea plays him. Good. Any other thoughts on Alarak, Dunk, Zoya?
Spent the last 2 weeks avoiding that patch to prepare for playoffs, so we have no experience playing them, looking at them, Diva or Tronda changes as well.
Gotcha. Overall thoughts on Diva? Anything? I mean, you said you didn't play her or you didn't focus on her in competitive, but she just seems like a beast. She has like infinite health, free health bar, can pressure super hard at late game too. When she has the tumble and the zap ult, which basically gets her mech back in 15 seconds as well. She seems pretty nuts.
We played a quick match game versus her once, and late game, like she had like 30-something deaths, and it was because she would get out of her mech and instantly get back in it, and then I don't know her talent, so I don't know what was causing it, but like late game, she was just literally just dying and getting back in her mech over and over and over.
Oh, the level 20 instant mech summon, like it's like a short range blank. Yeah,
it was nuts.
I
And like
think
all
she's
of her
really
best
good.
ones from her mech.
I think she's really good. Like, she doesn't do standard tank stuff, so she's not a great main tank. Like, you can't initiate or CC chain with her, but she destroys anyone trying to, like, follow up on a primary target to kill. Like, you just destroy one-shot comps, in my opinion. And, like, she zones so hard.
Yeah, she zones really hard. She can body block like a god as long as she can boost into place, but her movement speed does restrict her options for that. So it depends on the map, of course. But it's super interesting. Like, I never would have thought they'd make a hero that has less than base movement speed. And, after playing her, it's super impactful early in the game. It feel like, especially on some maps, it's just like, oh, God. Could I please spawn as Pilot Diva so I can at least mount? Like, let me out of my mech, please.
Like, if you just get a Vala chasing you or something and your Q's on cooldown in mech form, you're like, please stop hitting me.
Dude.
You just walk away and take your whole health bar and damage because you're so slow.
I was in
Where
lane.
did W go?
Huh?
Where did your W go?
Well, you see, my team ran in to try and fight level 1 and all got comboed, so I had to block all the damage from my W and try and disrupt, right? And my Q landed me in the center of their team, and then you try to walk away, and there's like Nazebo spiders chasing you, and Vala's shooting you, and you just have to cry.
It's just not a good time. Yeah.
It's just a disaster.
Trying to fight a Rainer who has more range than anyone else, and you've got the reduced speed. It's just like, why? Why is this a thing? Why? I hate this. But no, Diva's super interesting. I hope she's in play for the mid-season brawl because I think that'll shake. I mean, her existence alone shakes things up a lot, just because she's that power creep life. She is just OP, I think. Back to the groups. Let's get some predictions in here.
Okay, here's my predictions. Dignitas rank 1 out of this group. L5 rank 2. E-Star 3. Tempo 4. Red Candids 5. Soul Torturers 6.
It sounded exactly right to me.
Other group. Teammate, Fnatic, CE, Nomia, MVP Black, Deadly Kittens.
Teammate number 1.
Craigasm.
Fnatic number 2. Easy.
CE
Yeah,
and MVP
number
Black,
2.
5 and 6.
Probably.
Okay,
I have faith in teammate.
here's my prediction. Fnatic rank 1. MVP Black rank 2. Teammate 3. CE 4. Nomia 5. Deadly Kitten 6.
EU fanboy. Lol.
I have faith in EU.
I have faith in
Both
NA.
our teams are going to do well. I can feel it.
No, teammate's gonna win their group. Tempo Storm's gonna win their group. The easy peasy, lemon cheesy.
Okay, realistically, L5 is top of their group. Black is almost certainly top of their group. Like, realistically, even if they have not looked as impressive. I think the argument is really in Group 1, whether Teammate or Fnatic get second seed.
Right.
Like, for some reason, I just don't think CE is going to be that crazy. But, I mean, China's always a wild card to me, man. Sometimes I feel like China's so good, and then sometimes I feel like China's just so underwhelming.
Yeah, if only they're underwhelming when you were in China.
I mean, they were. It was just we were more underwhelming. So it was really a competition of who could be less whelmed, you know?
Oh my god.
That garden game is the most heartbreaking game of my entire life.
Please don't bring that up.
Oh my god. I don't know. I think you can't sleep on CE in my opinion. I think they're definitely a threat, and I wouldn't be surprised if they managed to even beat Fnatic. But I'm with you that I think it's MVP Black and Fnatic to win it. I wouldn't be surprised if Fnatic took MVP, even if they are the Korean gods. What Baker is saying about them being kind of a stagnant meta, unless they do bust out the Genji and make it look like the most terrifying thing in the world. Maybe it's hard to say.
Genji, Diva, Alarak comp, play all of them next level.
That would be really interesting if they did mix all those into like their drafts at least, because that would basically just be a different meta entirely at that point. But it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Again, like it's like 9 days of games, so this isn't like a weekend tournament, guys. This is an event.
That's crazy.
Okay,
That's crazy.
so this is like kind of on topic, kind of not, right?
Right.
What happened? The NA now thinks, like, what happened between the Clash and now? The NA now thinks they are like a competitive region, and just to be clear, right? I'm not saying they aren't. I'm just asking what happened to make them think this. So there's been a few examples.
Okay, any sources quote. If you're quoting me, those are troll. NA sucks. So
yeah, it's not you. Well, so Dunk just asked the question: who's gonna win, Teammate or Fnatic?
I mean, that's dank memes, bro. Come on. How can you think, like, okay, realistically, NA has no shot to beat Korean or European teams in actual sets, and maybe if China is just super trash, for some reason at this event, they have a shot. But, like, I would be surprised if an NA team took a single game off a Korean team or more than one game off of a European team. Like, realistically. I mean, let's be honest.
So, and then the other thing is that I fired a shot at Fury, okay?
That's a good shot.
And then Fury replied with, I can't wait to play you at the mid-season brawl or something.
I can't wait. I hope they destroy you. It's gonna be so funny on the show next time if they ruin you.
40-0.
Yeah,
I found a nice graphic that kind of represents my expectations for North America in this brawl. These are some of the dumpsters we have across the U.S. And, the players are probably from these regions, definitely some behind this 10 locations.
Where did you get this?
But this is definitely kind of...
Where did you pull this picture from?
I Googled North American dumpster.
Like, there's no way you just threw this together in seconds. You found this someplace.
Of course I did, man. No, after the Western Clash, my hopes for NA are non-existent, basically.
Yeah, I mean...
So, I'm going to root for my boys Nomia. Let's go, Nomia. ANZ, let's go. You got this. Easy event.
I think if Nomia improved from the Clash, because they were actually good at the Clash, they were legitimately, it seemed like it was kind of a fluke when they should have beat Misfits 3-0, but then they should have beat Team 8 2-1 as well. It's like, that was actually a good team at the Clash.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a good series, actually.
And the super long format will benefit Nomia a lot because they actually will
get a lot of
scrims. They'll improve more than anyone else, I think, over the duration of the event, just because of how many actual matches they'll play and stuff. But I don't know.
I love watching Dunk drink out of a Winston. It amuses me greatly. It does suit him. It's very fitting, Dunk.
Thanks, man. Should I get my glasses on so it's even more accurate?
Yes.
Too bad. I don't want to make you happy.
Can you give me a hi there at least?
Hi.
No.
I don't know what he sounds like.
Hi there. It's the best I can do. If that's Admiral was here, he would give us a good hi there. Okay. So we've talked a little bit about the groups. We talked about the HGC Crucible. And we've set our expectations. The mid-season brawl still a few weeks out. The next topic is NA drama. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we will hop into the drama.
Son of a bitch.